Hey guys, Ash here from C4E Tech and welcome to the 100th episode of Ash Answers. For the first time, we are doing it from outside India. So I'm currently in Ajman in the United Arab Emirates. I will be traveling back to India in the next 2 days. So I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. So let's get to Ash Answers. Ash Answers is a show where I answer the questions that you ask on Twitter using the hashtag Ash Answers. So let us jump into the first question for the day. I'm just trying to figure out where I left it, and yes. So of course, the most obvious question: when are you gonna declare the name of the winner of the Asus Zenfone Max Pro giveaway? Waiting. It's already been declared about an hour back. You can find it by clicking the same link you used to enter, or here you go. You can actually see that. I'm just gonna throw up a screenshot. So congrats to the winner. We also have our OnePlus 6 giveaway running currently. So here's a card to that video. Do check it out if you haven't yet. So anyway, thanks a lot guys for participating, making our giveaways a huge success. Which would be your pick between the Redmi Note 5, Realme 1 and Asus Zenfone Max Pro? I bought the Max Pro this last week and it's a killer phone at 10k. My pick would be... Each one has its own sets of pros and cons. Not the Redmi Note 5. If you are talking Redmi Note 5 Pro, the Note 5 goes out of the running. It would kind of be close from a price to performance ratio. It would be close between the Zenfone Max Pro and the Realme 1. The Redmi Note 5 Pro is a little more expensive but better. It's got better cameras. So again, guys, brands keep wanting you to second guess yourself. Keep second guessing yourself. That's why you've got so many phones in every segment. They want to sell you phones. They market one feature so that even if you have another phone that you're pretty happy with, you're still going to be thinking about, hey, maybe I should get that phone for this feature. But nah, just be happy that with whatever it is that you've bought, even if it's a crappy phone. It is not. None of these are crappy phones. But even if you do end up having a bad phone, it's still okay. You've bought it, you've liked it. Stop comparing it to other stuff. Be happy. All the comparisons need to be done before you buy a phone, not after. Why not any reviews for the OnePlus 6? Not even camera samples. It's up for sales tomorrow. So there you go, guys. I know that some people have posted camera samples, but OnePlus were very clear in the NDA that they got us to sign saying no camera samples go live before the 21st. From 16 to 21, all that could go live was just the unboxing, and even then, certain software features were not supposed to be shown. Again, I know certain YouTubers who did show it, but OnePlus, this was what was in their material, and me personally, I want to make sure that if I'm saying something, I follow through on it. So I did sign a NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. So I can't break an embargo. I have no intention of breaking embargoes. That's just not professional or ethical. So let's wait till 21st. And unfortunately, on the 21st, I won't be posting OnePlus content because we've got a couple of other launches on the 21st and 22nd. But on the 23rd is when I'm going to go live with all this stuff. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, it makes no sense, the embargo though, because 1 second, checking for mic. Yes, recording. So it just makes no sense for me because, well, it's not like it's secret stuff that we are revealing, like from the software feature standpoint and everything. It's all been talked about. I understand why they don't want us to show camera samples. Maybe they're not, what do you say, they haven't fine-tuned their cameras or what. There's a lot of things I want to say right now, but I'm going to hold off till tomorrow. I'll probably talk about it on Instagram or Twitter. So, but the software perspective, I really don't get it because everything has been announced. Everybody knows what it is. Just not letting YouTubers show it just doesn't make sense. But then again, it is their brand. It's not mine. It's up to them to decide what works best for them. So I don't have to accept it. I don't have to like it. But I gotta respect the NDA that I signed. It is as simple as that. Bro, please explain the difference between AMOLED display and IPS display and also Full HD Plus Quad HD. AMOLED is a different technology where the blacks don't need to be lit, so it gives you better contrast and a little punchier images, inky deep blacks there. LCD is your regular panels that you see where the blacks need to be lit. So in a perfectly dark room, if you look at an AMOLED panel, you can't, if you look at a black display on the AMOLED panel, you don't know if the screen is on or off. whereas on an LCD panel you would be able to. In the past, LCDs were able to achieve higher brightness levels, which is why LCDs were preferred over AMOLED. But these days, AMOLEDs have caught up. Sunlight eligibility has been great on AMOLED displays. So that's the difference there. Resolution goes with regards to how many pixels are there on that panel. So a Full HD display is a 1920 1920 pixels this way, 1080 pixels this way. Quad HD is when you've got instead of 1080 it's 1440, and on top it is, instead of 1920 you get 2560. Yeah, for some reason I was phasing out on that. Guys, this is like, last night was the first time I've gotten a long night's sleep. Slept by around 2:30, woke up by 10 or 10:30, so there was like 8 hours of sleep. The previous night I was traveling, slept for like a couple of hours in flight, and there was a kid that was screaming. The kid wasn't crying, the kid was screaming. It wasn't like the kid was crying and I thought it was screaming. No. The kid was literally screaming for 3 hours. So couldn't really get a lot of sleep. And yesterday I came and I had to voice over for tomorrow's videos. You'll see you'll see tomorrow. Anyway, so the Full HD Plus is nothing but when you have an 18:9 panel. So instead of 1920, you get another for a 16:9. If it's 1920, for an 18:9, you need to get some extra pixels for the longer side of the display, and that is where that's called Full HD Plus. It can be 18:9, it can be 18.5:9, it can be 19:9. It's just basically Full HD Plus, a little few more pixels. Some people say that Mediatek chips work great during the beginning, but quickly within few days, after 2 to 3 months, they start to lag. Is it true? Is this the same case with Qualcomm chips? So who are these some people? I really want to know who those some people are. See, the reality is Mediatek chips either work well or not. There have been some chips which have been cranky, some chips have been bad. Have been good. Like for example, the P60, and in the past, the P10. Not the P10, the Helio X10, the X20 were not bad. Anyway, here's the thing, right? Mediatek chips get a bad rap because they are cheap, meaning they're used by brands who are looking for real cheap devices. And these brands who are very price sensitive, they don't really provide updates, and their software is meh at best, which is why Mediatek really looks bad. And they haven't helped their own case either. So when a brand that is actually giving good software comes out of the Mediatek chip, Mediatek has underperformed at times. But what I'm saying is you generally see what you get with Mediatek. If it's bad, it's bad. If it's good, it's good. Good is low probability. But with something like the P60, I highly doubt how the chip itself performs will change drastically over time. The software, on the other hand, might change if the brand that is using the P60, in this case, either OPPO or OPPO's Realme, if they don't provide good support for it, if they mess up updates, then yeah, it might slow down in the future. But the chip itself, I highly doubt it's going to have issues. And that's the same with all chips. So that answers your Qualcomm question as well. Please share your thoughts on pricing of the OnePlus 6 and which one's the best to buy. So I can't talk about comparisons till tomorrow, so we'll talk about that after that. As far as the OnePlus 6 goes, so this is a very common question that I'm getting from a lot of people. The OnePlus 6 doesn't have wireless charging, and it doesn't have IP certification, so it's not worth it. The S8 is available with all that. Guys, if you're gonna pick and choose, then everything is gonna have everything, right? You can always find a reason why something is bad, but you're not gonna go for the OnePlus 6 for, wireless charging. I'm not saying it's wrong for you to want it. I want wireless charging too, but it's not a deal breaker. And I don't accept OnePlus's explanation of we've got fast charge, that's why we don't go wireless charge. Now, the reality is OnePlus is trying to save a few bucks by not going wireless charging. It is understandable given the price of the phone. Now, the comparisons to the Galaxy S8, I know this particular question didn't compare, but I came across so many that I just want to address them all instead of picking the questions multiple times on similar subjects. So comparisons with the Galaxy S8 is last year's phone. It's got a single camera. It doesn't do portrait well. And it's gonna be supported for a lot lesser. So when you compare last year's chip with this year's chip, then it's always not a even comparison. And even current gen Samsung flagships are generally slower than OnePlus flagships, as in not slower as in you're gonna notice it slower, more as in if you're doing a speed test, kind of slower. So a OnePlus 6 would be a lot faster device as far as I can tell. Again, nothing conclusive. We'll do all these tests in the future after the embargo is lifted. So this is just in general compared to last year's flagship to this year's flagship chip. So you can't really compare a Galaxy S8 with a OnePlus 6 because it's an older chip. Again, with the optics, I'm not sure, I haven't tested them side by side, but then again, the second camera is definitely an advantage for the OnePlus 6. Yes, Samsung though, they are flagships generally, they are quite good even in comparison to mid-tier phones from the next year, rather your OnePluses and your Xiaomis from next year. The cameras on them, so Samsung might still have a good snapper in their video quality. I'm pretty sure Samsung's gonna nail it because they've got the pro video mode. So anyway, these are things we will check out. So I'm just saying you can't compare last year's Samsung with this year's OnePlus and say, hey, the OnePlus is not exciting enough. You know, I do feel OnePlus have done reasonably well. The build is good. The hiking prices, guys, I do understand the first OnePlus phone came in at 20k, but that was the time where Samsung had a flagship at 40k. Today, Samsung's flagship, I mean, now we are conveniently talking about Samsung's last year flagship, but Samsung's flagship phones are priced at what? Around 60, 65, something with a similar size display. So OnePlus is still coming in at close to half the price. It's a little more than half the price. Their price growth has been a lot more. It hasn't been proportional. Samsung was selling for 42, OnePlus was selling at 20. It was less than 50%, but today they are above 50%. So there is a change in price, but it isn't as drastic as people are making it out to be. And that change in price is because of all the marketing, the promotions that they are doing, and I don't like it. But I do understand why they have to do it. As a company to grow, you need the marketing, you need the promotion. And if you're telling yourself that, hey, put out a good product and that would work great, you don't have to market it, then you're kidding yourself. Because at the end of the day, marketing works. Why do you see so many OPPO and Vivo banners all around? Why do you see if you meet a friend of yours, all of us have those friends, right, who aren't very technologically savvy, and what phones do they use? An OPPO or a Vivo or a Samsung maybe. Why does that keep happening? It's all the branding, it's all the marketing. So you can't really hate OnePlus for wanting to get a little bit of marketing done. So anyway, that is the answer to that question. Now moving on to the next one on the list. How tall am I? I am 6 feet tall, my friend. Is Nokia 7 Plus a good bet, or should I go for Honor 10? I'm gonna go with Honor 10 all the way. The Kirin 970 might not be as good as the Snapdragon 845, but it is better than the Snapdragon 835, so there is no comparison here. And the Honor 10 also feels great in hand. It's got that absolutely fantastic back design, so you should probably get a Honor 10 over a Nokia 7 Plus. What exactly is a secondary camera implementation in the OnePlus 6? No one seems to provide any clarification on, is it telephoto, wide angle, or monochrome? So it is not wide angle, it is not telephoto, and it sure as hell is not monochrome. It's just a wide aperture second sensor that can get depth information. Not only that, since it's got a wide aperture and it's got a lot of pixels, it kind of is supposed to theoretically help with low light images. I have no clue how that works. From a theoretical standpoint, I'm just going to be honest here. From a practical standpoint, I have seen that it does produce reasonably better low light images. That is from the 5 to the 5T. So that is what it is. Moving on to the next question. Asus said that the Zenfone Max Pro will not be sold via flash sales. If stocks run out, they will try to replenish it ASAP. No news of the 6 gig variant going by this. I don't think they can keep up their update promises. Your thoughts? Guys, right from the first day, I haven't been really high on their update promise because they said they're gonna try to provide updates to do. I mean, you don't go ahead in a launch event and announce that you're gonna try to do things. So that has always been something I've not been too high on. So like I said, if it gets one update, I'm more than happy, because that's what phones in this segment do get usually. Sometimes they don't even get that. So as far as the flash sales go, see, they don't want to call it flash sales because they want to get everybody who hates Xiaomi for flash sales. They want to get all of us on their side, and that's why they say no flash sales. But at the end of the day, they have stock issues. When you're selling phones this at these prices, with these kind of internals, then you're always gonna have to match production. You can't overproduce stuff, so you're gonna have to match production with demand, and you have to be a little safe, because you end up with way too much units. You can't offset it with a lot of profits you get per unit. Like if Samsung ends up with more S9s, they can drop prices drastically, or the S8, right? That's currently selling at what, late 30s. They can afford to do that because they make that much of a profit. But when you're selling a phone like a Zenfone Max Pro or a Realme One or a Xiaomi Redmi Note 5 Pro, there is not a lot of profit in these phones. So that is why you don't see these phones get huge price cuts. So they need to kind of match. They need to be able to sell all the phones at the same price as they launched it at least for a majority of phones, or they're going to take huge losses. And it is reasons like this why brands have produce limited quantities, and hence flash sales, or calling it not flash sales but still running out of stocks very quickly. So that is that. If I import a Chinese variant of the X6, will it support an Indian SIM? Will it display Indian language? Generally, the phones sold in China, I don't know about the X6 in particular, but generally phones sold in China, they do support Indian SIMs. Some of them support VoLTE, at least from China, most of them do. And English language is available. The problem that you're going to face is getting Google Play services on it. The Nokia X6 had problems with it for about 4 months, I'm gonna say 3-4 months, where you couldn't add it. A Moto M I imported. Till the end, I was not able to install Google Play on it. It was actually the opposite here. The Nokia 6, till I got an update, I wasn't able to do it. And the Moto M Google Play worked great, and then after an update, it flat out refused to work. So that's a risk you'd have to take if you're importing. And of course, there's always customs in the huge amount they're going to charge you. Are the new Lenovo bands which are launched in India better than the Mi Band 2? So guys, here's the thing, right? Fitness trackers, sometimes I just laugh at people who are talking about fitness trackers and go, hey, this one is more accurate, this one is less accurate, this is 10% more accurate, this is 10% less accurate. And I'm just laughing at all of them, to be very frank, because at the end of the day, fitness trackers are not about accuracy. Like, what? Did he just say fitness trackers are not about accuracy? Yes, they are not. Because I use a fitness tracker, I've used it for the last 3-4 years, and I walk a lot. So here's my last few months. And if somebody's going to dispute this, I'd want them to show better numbers for the last few months. It doesn't matter if I'm freaking fat. It doesn't matter if I look. However, the fact of the matter is, this fitness tracker has made me get up off my and go out walk, right? So that is what fitness trackers are about. They aren't about how many steps you walk. It is about motivating you, pushing you to go ahead, be a little bit more active. So if my fitness tracker is 20% inaccurate, so be it. In the long run, it's all gonna average out, right? As long as you have the motivation to get up, go out, meet people, walk, be more active, you are getting healthier day by day. So it doesn't really matter what you use. And here's where I actually like Fitbit, maybe Nike's Fuel Band. See, some things, whatever, have a strong ecosystem where you're able to communicate with your friends, other people who are using the fitness trackers. If you're able to go on challenges with them, it kind of becomes a schedule. It becomes a kind of routine. So at that point, one day you're not in a challenge, a friend's gonna ping you, go like, hey man, what's up? You didn't respond to my challenge. And like, one man, I'm not walking today. It's just a little bit of pressure on yourself to get out each day, make sure you hit your steps, and midday you've just clocked in a couple of thousand steps, and you pick up your phone and you go like, hey, you know what, my friend's at 9,000, damn it, let me get a few thousand steps in. And it's just little things like that that motivate us to keep moving, and that's what a fitness tracker is all about. When I see people talking about it is not that, as in it's not that accurate and stuff, I'm just like, I see that on tweets all the time. People going, hey, I bought this fitness tracker, it's not that accurate. I saw that other fitness tracker that is supposed to be 10% more accurate. So should I pay extra and buy it? Not really. Buy it for the ecosystem. If you don't want to pay a lot, and pick up a Charge 2 or something, then get a Mi Band, get a Lenovo Band, get a whatever. Unless it's not something ridiculous like You remember Ventures, they had a band that was ridiculously inaccurate. That would just count steps when you're like sitting. That doesn't work. But for those that are like a little bit inaccurate, maybe counts 1,000 steps when you're like driving for an hour, I mean riding your bike for an hour, that's fine. Even the Fitbit does that. When I used to travel to work in the past, like when we were relocating and I had moved to the new place, like my home had moved but my office was still away, I had to go through a lot of roads with potholes, and my Fitbit would crank up. It would almost add 200 steps. So I would get around 150 steps. So I would get around 300 steps extra every day. But that's okay. That's okay. 20,000 steps, 300 doesn't really make a difference. And even if you were walking only 6,000, 7,000 steps, even then 300 doesn't make a difference, because without the fitness tracker, you'd probably be walking a lot less. So that's my take on fitness trackers. Buy anything, whatever looks nice, whatever is cheapest. Unless you want to go for the whole social aspect of it, then get a Fitbit. That's it. Firstly, Asus India with the Zenfone Max Pro now, OPPO Mobile India and Realme mobiles with the Realme One. Looks like lately but surely these companies are beating Xiaomi India in its own game. Your say on the topic. I'm sorry, I've got a bad cold. Anyway, my say here is Xiaomi had gotten a little complacent, and they finally did try to hike their prices, because the Redmi Note 5 Pro is not really a Redmi Note 5 Pro. It is the Redmi Note 5, right? In China it is. In India it should have been. But they didn't want to hike prices, so they called the Redmi 5 Plus as the Redmi Note 5 and hiked the Redmi Note 5's price by pricing the Redmi Note 5 Pro a little higher. So the year they decide to do this, well, everybody else comes to the party. So this is kind of a little bit of Xiaomi's inability to, what do you say? I mean, a little bit of complacency on Xiaomi's part. Now, here's the interesting thing. In the past, we've had Lenovo, we've had we've had LAKEY, we've had Ventures, different brands try to compete with Xiaomi in this price segment. There's one thing common between these brands: none of them could hold out. Xiaomi has been able to hold out for years, pricing phones this competitively. Now it's great for us, the end consumer, that an Asus and a Realme are actually giving us great options in this segment. But will they be able to hold out for a few years? Are they going to be able to come with phones like this continuously? Now that's the question that remains to be seen. Like Asus did do it in the past, right? Zenfone 2 at 20K competed with the OnePlus One, the Mi 3 and all that. But then the Zenfone 3 was like 25K or something for a Snapdragon 625. So let's see if Asus and Realme are able to provide competition in this segment. If they did, it would be great for us, the consumers. And let's see what Xiaomi has to do. Do you think OnePlus omitted wireless charging on the OnePlus 6 despite having a glass pack so they can introduce it on the OnePlus 60 as an added feature? I don't think that was the intention. I just think it was simply shaving off a few bucks, but they might introduce it with the OnePlus 60 as well if a lot of us make a huge noise about it. So remains to be seen, but personally I don't think that was the intention. Tech reviewers on YouTube have been mysteriously quiet about Xiaomi's knack for increasing prices. What do you have to say? Hey buddy, what the hell do you mean by mysteriously quiet? Do we need to call you up and go, hey, I'm talking about Xiaomi's pricing? Hell, I've been talking about it since day one. Since the day the Redmi Note 5 and Note 5 Pro have been announced, I've been talking about, hey, Xiaomi has just hiked prices. The Note 5 is the 5 Plus and the Note 5 Pro is the actual Note 5. This is how they're hiking prices. You didn't watch it, you didn't catch it, so that doesn't mean that we aren't talking about it. Right, so why does every question need to be an accusation? Why couldn't it be like, hey man, what's happening? What do you feel about Xiaomi doing this? But it's gotta be, hey, why aren't anybody talking about it? It's a conspiracy. It's insinuated if it's not said out loud. So anyway, I have been talking about it for a while, and I don't blame Xiaomi for it. They've been on the 9999, 10999 segment for how many years now? So every price has gone up. Well, I wouldn't have I don't like the 13K pricing. I would have preferred if they hiked it $1,000 every year or something. That would have been fine, but it is what it is. So yeah, I've been talking about it, my friend, so you can't put this on me. Z Nation versus Walking Dead, what's your favorite? I'm gonna have to go with neither, both. Z Nation is basically somebody who saw Walking Dead and went, hey, I'm going to do everything in the inverse. So this is a show where they don't shy away from saying zombies. On The Walking Dead, they say everything else but zombies. On Z Nation, they go, the first thing they see it and go, hey, zombie. So it's like very weird, very different. It's not, I mean, I find Walking Dead a little bit more interesting, but Z Nation isn't bad at all. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap here. It's 28:33 on the camera. 30 minutes. This camera gets cut. I don't wanna extend recording. So thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for your support. 100 episodes. That's been great. And thanks a lot for continuously watching. I'm sorry about the last few weeks where I couldn't upload. We're gonna try to make this a lot more till as long as it's either gonna continue on time every week, or we might not continue. I've still not decided what we're gonna do with Ash Answers, but as of for the foreseeable future, you're gonna get episodes on time. So I guess that's it for this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, vote it down if you didn't, and for more videos, hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. If you've already subscribed, hit that bell icon to make sure you get notified every time a new video goes live on C4E Tech. And that's it. Thanks a lot for watching. It is time I bid you adieu. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech, and I'm signing off. You guys have a great day. Bye bye.